The early Huntington Beach, and here is a contrast.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is the Sierra Club booth, and also solar power booth. You see there's a solar panel here, and Bob built his own electric car. And 90% of our pollution problems come from the debris of the oil economy. So you have solar power and electric cars. That's Bob Siebert. This is Earth Resource Foundation, who's running this event, and they have a campaign against plastics. And they're the ones that stop cigarette butts in most beaches. Now there's laws against cigarette smoking, butt dropping in most beaches and parks. Algalita, the anti-plastic folks. Algalita.org. Captain Charlie Moore.
I don't know where he is. I just know I was talking to him.
Here's some of the stuff. This is what happens to albatrosses. Their mothers feed them things that look like shrimp, but they're really bottle caps and things like cigarette lighters. There's a few hopeful surfers out there, and Huntington Beach is pretty clean right now. So there's a little bit of waves there. These are the ocean defenders. This is Kurt Lieber from Sea Shepherd, who is, I guess, also oceandefenders.org, and they're making a campaign about, letting the ocean recover a little bit.
I removed abandoned fishing gear, so all the nets and traps and stuff that are down there, we're getting them out.
Could you tell me, I hear that, our big plague is sea urchins because they eat up the seaweed?
That's why I do what I do. It all starts with this animal right here.
Yes.
The abalone were a huge commodity, if you want to call them a commodity here in Southern California. And in the 50s, the fishermen struck a deal with the Department of Fish and Game that they wanted to eliminate the otters down here because they wanted all the abalone for themselves. And they have killed every one of them south of Point Conception. You will not see an otter down here. An otter hasn't been seen down here for about 40 years. And with that, the consequence was that the urchins proliferated because the otters were no longer here to predate on them. And with the urchins proliferating, there's no kelp because the urchins feed on the kelp. So we've lost 90% of the kelp since the 50s due to the urchins.
I heard that the lobsters eat urchins too. When we kill lobsters, we're actually
proliferating. We're very good at eliminating the predator of the urchins. There's a picture up there with us releasing lobsters. We remove a lot of traps, and then at the same time we release the lobsters that are there because there's two main predators left of the urchins, and that's the sheephead, which is a big fish here.
The sheephead fish is a predator of the urchins?
Correct, as well as the lobsters eat.
Right.
But they have to be a certain size to tackle, and the Department of Fish and Game has set the size limit, which I think is a 3.5-inch carapace length, which those animals are barely able to eat urchins. But we've seen bigger ones, and I found them in traps, literally eating the urchins off the traps. So
even when they're being killed, they're still doing good for the ocean.
Correct.
So why would anybody eat a lobster? Anybody who loves the ocean wouldn't eat a lobster.
You know, my friend, I don't understand it. I do a lot of talking to dive clubs, and it baffles me how these people have a blind eye when it comes to lobsters. They claim to love the ocean and love the environment down there, and they're killing lobsters left and right. They have no compunction about going out and killing a lobster.
You know, in order for sea otters to survive, the ocean has to be clean, and that's if you're around.
Right.
You know, and they would be insatiable about killing those darn sea urchins.
Yep.
And if we don't get the sea urchins down, we'll never get rid of never get our kelp beds back.
And the kelp harbors an immense amount of life. It's a whole water column now that animals can hide in, and that's all gone. So the fish population has been decimated because of that. With
let the lobsters live, and let them therefore, predate on the sea urchins, and probably if we could bring back the sea otters. That would be the best for the ocean. But the Sea Shepherd Society and Seafood Watch and the oceandefenders.org is a very worthy organization. Solar power and electric cars are essential for the life of the ocean. Power plants kill the ocean through infall and outfall operations that use the water for cooling. And the debris of the oil economy also kills the ocean, from urban runoff to refinery debris to oil spills. So electric cars and solar power are deeply tied in with the health of the ocean. So is the life of kelp. Kelp rises like a tree in underwater forest from the floor of the ocean. The sea urchins come along and they eat the kelp from the base up, so that the kelp becomes a seaweed which floats off to its destruction. They don't actually eat the entire kelp. They basically kill the whole tree just by killing its connection to the rock that anchors in place. So a large number of sea urchins can kill a whole forest full of kelp.